Well, welcome, lifers, and what an amazing day it is. We're a podcast that does nothing but celebrate the Jeep life out there, and what better place to do it than where we are? We traveled far and wide to get to New Jersey, all the
It's
way
not
across
really
the
that
river,
far.
all the way across the river. We're here recording live from OK4WD Drive, and I love being here. It's awesome. I'm Terry, and I'm joined by always my cohorts in crime or in mud or in rocks or however you want to call it. And I'm going to start to my right. Hey, Bill, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well, Terry. A lot of still things are changing for me, and as some people may have seen on our Instagram page, I was having some fun tearing off the valve cover on Big Red,
Oh,
trying to dig into that camshaft position sensor problem, and it was happening again today. So maybe see some more on our Instagram page and Facebook later.
maybe. I've been to your house twice in the last, no, 3 times in the last week.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those times, a wrench was turned on Big Red.
Oh, absolutely. There ain't a day that something isn't being tightened, loosened, changed, this, that, the other thing.
I love it. I love it. Well, the other side of me, Don, how you doing, man?
Very good. How are you, Terry?
Man, I couldn't be better, but it's good to see you. And we couldn't let you drive all this way in your Honda. You
I know. I met you guys in a Honda this morning.
We were like, no. Yeah, we'll leave this here.
That was well planned. I figured I'd burn your gas instead of mine. I knew you
Yeah.
wouldn't let me drive down here in a Honda.
It's a wise man that
Yeah.
that sees that far ahead.
Listen, that's money I can spend on Jeep parts.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I love it. So how much you going to spend today? How much room am I going to need?
I just burned my savings account. I just bought a new Warren Evo winch for the new
nice.
Jeep
Yeah.
through OK4WD Drive,
Perfect.
which is where we are today.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yep, absolutely. So,
How about you introduce the guest?
I would love to. So we're actually at OK4WD Drive today with Jim Oostdyk, who is founder of OK4WD Drive. Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you guys for coming over.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
absolutely. We're stoked to be here. Like, this is, first of all, to walk around the showroom this morning and look at the next bunch of purchases and
Yeah. It's a good thing Bill had his mask on to keep all the
the
drool
drool
off
off.
of
There
I
may be,
know.
yeah. I was drooling over everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, the way the shop is set up, it's very shoppable. I mean, for somebody that is an off-road enthusiast, I want to come in and I definitely want to spend money, but it's definitely it's laid out in a way that it intrigues me to go on. And then the showroom where all the big stuff is. I'm looking out right now over the glass. We're in the conference room, and I'm looking over the glass at all the cool stuff that I want to pull behind my Jeep or put behind
or put on top of your Jeep,
I know,
or
right? Yeah, for sure. So, man, great work. Tell us a little bit about what you do here and how it all kind of started.
Yeah. Well, it started in 1979 at a little two-bay garage. So it was just myself, and I had a good friend, and I had a muscle car, crashed it, or actually the muscle car, I kept getting tickets in it.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that
right.
was the biggest problem with it. So I had to get rid of that. If I lost my license, I wouldn't be able to fix cars. I bought an old 61 CJ5 and had that and rolled it. And my friend had gotten rid of his muscle car at the time. His last name started with a K and mine with an O. So we got these 2 Jeeps, got rid of our muscle cars, and said, hey, let's start OK4WD Drive. So we started working
Perfect.
on our Jeeps, and after I rolled it, I put a fiberglass tub on it, and people came in and said, hey, I want that done to mine, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
That's
It's
awesome.
interesting. I always wondered where the name came from.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
Cool history.
I moved to Pennsylvania from Texas, and when you say okay there, it's definitely Oklahoma, and that's a bitter rivalry there.
Right.
And so I never wanted to breach the subject. Here I was
People always think we're in Oklahoma.
yeah, you get that a lot probably.
Yeah,
I
New
like-
Jersey. That's not Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I like that name better though. It works better for taking the 2 initials and putting them together.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
way cooler than
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
yeah.
I always thought it was just like OK 4-wheel drive. Like, okay, it's a one-stop shop. I'm going there, and that I can leave with everything I
I
need.
knew it had some meaning. I just never, it was never one of those conversations I had with anybody here.
Yeah.
Never had a chance to.
Yeah,
So
it
that's
was-
interesting.
It was actually a nickname too in school. I got a crazy last name, and teachers would look at it. And one teacher, it starts with an O and ends with a K, and he
Yeah.
goes, "I'm just going to call you OK."
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
My friends called me OK, so it was
Yeah.
always always around.
Oh, that works.
That's cool.
I like it.
Cool.
I like it a lot.
Great. So, how long were you in the two-bay garage?
So
And that
we-
was in the same area, right?
Yeah, that's about 6 miles from here.
Okay.
So we were there 9 years. After about 5 years, we outgrew it. Tried to add on to that building, couldn't. Then acquired a piece of property to build down there, and the town turned us down.
Oh,
So I was really bummed out after that meeting. Came by, saw a for sale sign on this property. Called the realtor the next day and worked a deal out on this property. We moved here. I bought it in '86. We moved here in '88.
So did you
So-
start building right away? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we, real low budget.
Right.
So, this building started as 6,000 square feet, and now it's 21,000 square feet.
oh,
Right.
wow.
So
Right.
we just kept adding on over the years
Mhm.
as we grew.
Oh, no kidding. So this wasn't a once and done deal. You've
No,
made
no.
additions to it. No
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
It's a beautiful building. This has got to be, if you guys have not been to OK 4-wheel drive, it's every bit as nice, if not nicer, than most of the new modern dealerships. It's a gorgeous facility. You got to stop in and see it, the showroom, etc.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bought a drive shaft from here, a Yukon beefy drive shaft. One day I was having some issues with the CV joint on my front drive shaft, and I was like, where can I get a drive shaft? Because I was going on a long trip, and I was down in the Allentown area, and I was like, oh crap, OK 4-wheel drive. Let me just drive over there, and then I lit my credit card on fire, and that's what happened.
Well, I tell you, I mean, OK, the name has become synonymous with the business. I mean, first of all,
Absolutely.
you see the banners up at AOAA.
Yeah.
Anybody you talk to, I've never heard anything bad. Service is great, sales is great, and the knowledge is through the roof, which we'll get into in a little bit
Yeah.
with some of the people that work here, and we'll talk about them. But so how did it grow to this? Were you racing at all, or was that
Yeah.
part of the promotion?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Mike Rauch, our sales manager,
Right.
I met in the '80s. Mike and I were just living at home with Jeeps, had some money to burn, and raced Jeeps. And
Right, right.
got to become friends at the racetrack, and then the business was growing. I acquired the property here to build. Offered Mike a job, and Mike lives about 45 minutes from here.
Right.
So Mike's been commuting from
Yeah,
out in
right,
Pennsylvania
yeah.
since '86 all the way to till now
Yeah.
here, and it's been a tremendous help to grow the business.
Yeah.
I feel his pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a long commute.
I've
too.
always had a long commute.
Yeah, same here, an hour, but that's what we do for good jobs.
It really
it's-
is.
Yeah, I go all the way from the bedroom down to the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's a
right.
tough life,
long
you know.
commute.
Yeah. So, and that's how I met you guys. How I got affiliated with OK 4-wheel drive was Mike. I had his stepson, in my one of my first classes I taught there. And in fact, my wife was always a Jeep person. I was sort of, at the time, I was drag racing. We talked about it. I had a
Right.
Dakota RT. And between Brian and my wife, I ended up getting into Jeeps. And the good time to talk about this, but I guess, I bought the first round on that TJ that I built. I didn't think that. I thought this was a place where I could only get custom parts and couldn't afford the parts. So I bought everything from Quadratech. But then the second build, I learned that you can get just about anything you want here.
Yeah.
And so the second build, and from here on out, I've been buying my parts from OK. you know, and the biggest reason for that is I'm sheltered in a school, and I'm not surrounded with the reps and the, you know, the same stuff that these guys are. But when I do run into a problem, I always get my answers here. And the other thing
Yeah.
that I've always enjoyed or appreciated was the fact that, you know, the way that Mike and you guys stand behind your products too.
Thank you.
Service is you know, it's second to none here. So how did you guys gain all this experience, and I know you got some guys working in the shop out there that are, you know, they rebuild a rear in about half the time I do, and
Yeah.
you know, their knowledge is about 3 times what, you know, ours is. How did you come across such great
Well,
employees?
at our old place in the 80s, it was Mike, Scott Morris, who ran our service side. Mike did the sales, and I did whatever.
Right.
And then we hired a guy, Dave Lamar, down there too, who was just a young kid that would clean up and help us with tire work or whatever. And those 3 guys are still with me today.
Wow.
So we've just, you know, got young guys in here and girls, and
Right.
groom them into, you know, what we want them to
Right.
be, and learn from each other. And I've always looked to hire people that have different interests in different segments,
Right,
and
right.
different products, of, you know, Ford, Jeep, Chevy, you know, you name it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just a Jeep shop. We're anything 4-wheel drive.
Right.
Right,
Right.
Absolutely. So the beauty of that is we learn so much from a lot of these other vehicles that we can bring into the Jeep world,
Right.
or other worlds. And we've always been about functional 4-wheel drives too. We like to have a vehicle that's not just suited for one thing, maybe, you know, drive it on the road and the trail.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Be able to camp out of it, be able to go 80 miles on the highway and then put it in low range and crawl over big rocks.
So it
So
works everywhere.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the functionality is a big thing for us,
Right.
and quality. You know,
Right.
we always preach quality service, you know, with our customers, with the work we do in the shop,
Right.
and the parts we sell. We don't just look for the cheap item, you know, that you can make money on. We want to sell products that we know we could stand behind, and that the company's
Right.
going to back up a warranty. You know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
some of the things we sell are a matter of life or death if they fail.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
we want, you know, top quality stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So what services do you offer here? I mean, you've got a shop, you've got sales. What do you have?
Yeah, we started with service, and then, you know, our original little 2-bay garage, we had a showroom that was probably smaller than most bathrooms. You know,
Alright.
you could barely turn around in there.
Right.
So we displayed a couple goods, and we couldn't wait to move to this location to have a nice showroom. You know, we love to show off the products and have people be able to see what they're going to get
Sure.
installed. So yeah, when we moved here, we developed, you know, we had the service end of it yet,
Mhm.
and we developed the showroom so people could see and we could stock. And then it evolved into the web.
Mhm.
Chris Shantz, who a lot of you may know,
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
yeah.
Venture
kind of helped
venture
us.
forward.
He worked for us in the 90s and helped us, you know, with our original website.
Mhm.
And so we started selling online, and that's evolved into a big segment of the business now.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have your own warehouse behind.
Yeah.
You have.
We
know,
have
so
a
lot of-
warehouse here, and we have a warehouse right down the road, about 2 miles.
Yeah.
that we-
I've never waited more than 5 days for anything that I've ordered. You know, this winch Mike had for me in 24 hours that I just recently ordered. So the inventory you guys keep is great. I mean, it's phenomenal.
We try.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. but
It is.
we
That's
try.
a
Yeah.
trick in its own. You know.
It is.
Well, especially for all the variety that you guys
Yeah.
want to do, right? It's not just a
It's not just
one
Jeep.
trick pony,
Yeah,
right? It's a
Correct.
multiple trick pony, and that's super impressive to be able to do that. What do you? I know you have complex systems to take care of that, but has that always been kind of a mission statement to manage all of that and be
It's tough having a business that has all those segments.
Right.
But the beauty of it is the knowledge that we gain.
Mm,
By selling parts online, you can do that, but if you don't understand how the parts are installed and operate by doing the installation of them, it's hard to sell.
Right.
People
Right.
call up with a
Yeah.
tech question, how do you know?
Very good point. Yep.
Within this building, we have over 30 employees who, if you need an answer, we're going to find it. Somebody here is going to know, and that's been a huge thing for us.
I love that partnership with, with the people you work with, just being able to, I don't need to be the expert in everything. I need to be surrounded by experts
Yeah.
in their field so I can go to them
Yep.
and get the answer. From my background, I could never be the expert in everything in my field.
None of us can.
But I want to dig
Very
in
true.
on what I'm supposed to know,
Right.
Right.
and then be the expert that everybody goes to for that, and vice versa. I need to rely on other people's shoulders, right? That's awesome.
Life is all about relationships. We have, being in the business this long now, we have a lot of good relationships with a lot of people throughout the industry.
Sure.
So if we can't get the answer, we go out of here to find the answer too. And the industry is full of just some incredible people out there. We're proud to know them.
It really is. The
Yeah.
off-road industry is unique in that aspect. I mean, separate from some of the other parts of the automotive industry. It really is a close-knit, good bunch of people.
It
you
is.
know?
Yeah.
So, what are some of the non-local things that you do with OK Four-Wheel Drive? Do you do shows? Do you do races? Are you still involved in racing?
I'm not. We have some guys that are actually racing this weekend. Mike and J.E.E.P, one of our techs, is racing. Some of our salespeople and others are out there with them. So we still get involved in that racing segment.
Right.
Personally, I had kids and had to get out of racing
Right.
and had to concentrate on the business. I still miss it. I know even going there just torments me because I still want to get into it.
Yeah.
But I've always liked to, with my family, off-road and camp where other people aren't.
Yeah.
We like to be alone, just the family, and relax, or just your friends, and not have other people that you got to be annoyed with, just get away. So the overlanding segment kind of kicked in. We kind of always have done it, but it kind of kicked in and we kind of got involved with it, and that's just been a huge segment of our business.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell us about some of the brands, some of the stuff that you carry here that's unique, Jim, for overlanding equipment.
Yeah, well, I got involved taking my kids on mission trips around the world, and every time I went, I'd see how four-wheel drives were being used in these remote areas of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The poorest countries, everyone had a four-wheel drive somewhere where we went. Every time I'd go, I'd end up working on them, learning about them, seeing these cool vehicles I've never seen before, getting some ideas. Then I got involved in going to some shows in other countries to see what kind of four-wheel drives items were out there. And just I've always had a love for the four-wheel drive world, but when I got outside of our country, I learned so much more.
Right.
So we search the world for what we can find to bring back to our country and sell.
Oh, sure.
And there's so many cool products out there. So the overlanding, vehicles in other countries, when they go out off-roading, they could get shot, their vehicle could get broken into, they got to be secure.
Yeah.
But they have to be incredibly reliable, because
Right.
if they break down there's nobody to call. There's no
Right.
AAA.
Right.
Mhm.
So the components that they use are outstanding for
Right.
the most part. And the vehicles that they have are outstanding too. I wish we could bring in some of the vehicles that are made
Right.
in other countries that we can't get until 25 years. But we've just found some incredible products, been able to bring them back here, develop them for our market, because our vehicles are a bit different.
Right.
And that business has really exploded, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some unique stuff, and there's not, and I share that same passion with you. I grew up in a motor home and campers. In fact, my own experience before, when I was young, my parents leased out our house for a year, and we lived in a fifth wheel and traveled the country. So, my father, I like to think of him as one of the first overlanders. He was gone, and he had a friend that he traveled with a truck camper, with during the summer times. And so I share that same passion, and there's not a whole lot of stuff available, overland product available that you can walk into a showroom and buy on the East Coast. It's huge on the West Coast.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not as big on the East Coast. I mean, I think you guys, and there's a company is it Blue Ridge? Is that the name of the company I'm thinking of? But they're down.
Overland Gear. Yeah,
Yes.
they
they
have,
sell
like soft goods.
Yeah, but there's just not a whole lot of places to go and actually walk into a showroom and purchase equipment. So that's kind of unique.
And that's the other thing is like you say, seeing what you're getting. Like we look out into the showroom and there's these awesome like truck bed campers and it's just absolutely amazing to see what kind of they jam into a small area and then it all expands and comes out and you got a canopy and you got your rooftop tent and it's like you're towing a little hotel room behind you.
So Jim, can we talk about those campers?
Sure.
Online.
Yeah.
So it's it's Alucab?
Alucab
Is it
yes.
correct?
And
this is a product that you carried, and I've been watching. I've mentioned it on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This is a dream of mine someday. Tell us a little bit about them because they're unique and they are wild.
Yeah, well, for the Jeep world, on the Alucab side, they just came out with the Gladiator truck, which you're all familiar with, and Alucab has a canopy camper for that.
Right.
So what that is, it's like a cap that you would put on, but the cap top extends out over the cab, and then you can pop that top, open it, and be able to climb in, and you have stand-up room to change. When you're ready for bed, you pull the bed down, climb up, and go in it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's lightweight, all aluminum. You can rack the top to put a kayak or whatever on top. Solar panels for your electric. Keep your fridge in there, and you have a living quarter and a nice big sleeping quarter too.
I think one of my favorite options with them is one of the side compartments. You get an option, I believe. You open it up and it's got the wine glasses and the bottle openers in there. I mean, just something a little bit romantic about doing a hard day's wheeling and then finishing up with your wife and drinking a bottle of wine.
You got to enjoy life.
Yep. So. But really a great product, and it doesn't change the center of gravity a whole lot in the vehicle because it's so light and a lot of weight.
Because it's aluminum, it's well under the GVW of the Gladiator, and it's a hard shell product that you could still wheel with.
Right.
So it's not something that's going to crack or break or whatever.
Right.
You could rub it against brush. It's not going to crack a gel coat or whatever.
Right.
And it's it's.
And you guys you've built a couple of them now. You had a Toyota that was at I saw it at SEMA, and you have two Colorados right now.
We have one Colorado.
Okay.
That's Rin. Rin manages Alucab here.
Okay.
And he built a Colorado. He had a four-door JK, then wanted to build a camper.
Right.
So he built that, and we have our Toyota Tacoma. The Gladiator is J.E.P Factors.
Okay.
Who does a lot of shows and everything with us.
Yep.
We were going to buy one. Now he has one, so now we're not sure what to do there.
Yeah, right.
in the Jeep world right now.
That's cool.
But
I haven't seen a whole lot of them on Gladiators yet, so I'm glad that I was worried.
It's brand new.
Yeah.
It just came out.
Okay, well, that's great news. That's, like I said, that's what I aspire to.
I know you've been eyeing it.
I have been. So I'm saving my pennies, and like I said, I'm hoping to,
that's a lot of
7
pennies.
years. It is. But I'm hoping to 6-7 years to call up and, Mike, I need an Alucab for the Gladiator. I'll be here in 4 weeks, whatever, back in, load it up, and take off camping. So that's
and never go home again.
Well, I have 4 kids,
stay,
so at some point
stay on the road.
At some point, I have to go home.
Okay.
Somebody's got to eat. Always.
Yeah, true.
But so what are some of the other projects that you guys have been involved in? I know, like you guys, I'm sure it's okay if we talk about Venture Forward or Venture 4-Wheel Drive, depending on how you want to say it, Chris Shantz.
Yeah.
But you guys, he was an employee for you. He worked with you for a while, helped you build your website.
Yep.
And you guys helped him build a 4-door JK, which is kind of unique. And he lives out of it.
Yeah.
he's on the road like I think close to 300 days a year. Or
I think
something.
That's awesome.
I think Chris inspires all of us to want that
Really does.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
you
right.
know? Every time I watch his video, it's like, man,
I know.
I got to get out. Seeing the beautiful places he travels. When Chris came to me with that idea that he had, and he wanted to know if we, help support him with it, and I'm like, Chris, I'm all in, man. I love it. I hope you can do it. Whatever we can do to help. And he's just done a fabulous job with it.
Yeah, he's very talented.
He shares so much information for people.
Yep.
Yeah.
He inspires many, and just the quality of the work that he puts out
Yep.
is very well done.
Yeah.
His Jeep, to live out of your Jeep is amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it. And it's to have your food in there, your bedding in there. We put a little
Cooks.
heater in
Yep.
there for him.
Yeah,
so he
that's
has some
right.
winter
Yep.
heat.
Yep.
Bigger fuel tanks. He's got it set up extremely well. The Jeep gets used hard.
Yeah.
And it's holding up for him. So it's
He's actually uses it hard. It's been laid
Oh,
over once.
yeah, I've seen-
Yeah. But you're right. he
Terry's
does-
nightmare, right
What's
there.
that?
I said
That's
Terry's
fine.
nightmare.
Yeah, I know. But he does do a great job. In fact, and I'll give him a plug. I'm a Patreon member
Awesome.
for him.
Yeah.
Every Saturday morning, my son and I get up and we watch his videos. That's my son's dream. We've met him here in the showroom. So anybody else that's out there listening, if you have any interest in overlanding at all, venture 4-wheel drive or venture forward, depending on how you want to say it. But if you just search that in YouTube, you'll find his videos. And I suggest, I would highly suggest subscribing. And he has them out every Saturday.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
I know I could do the whole overlanding thing, but I don't think the girlfriend would like it too much. She
No.
needs a closet, she
That's
says.
that's something that is getting better though.
Yeah.
We've got some cool products. My wife, I've scared her on a lot of these Jeep rides I've taken her on, and the women just want some of the luxuries. And quite frankly, as I'm getting older, I kind of like a shower and a
Yeah.
toilet myself. right?
Yep.
So we've got some camp toilets that are incredible. We're building a Sprinter van right now, which I'll show you guys.
Perfect.
Is
awesome.
I know women are gonna really like that.
Yeah.
So you can kind of have a rugged 4-wheel drive with the amenities.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean, even these alucabs that a shower pops out of the side of them. You lay a little mat down and you
Yeah.
got a full
Yeah.
shower,
I know.
and it has heated water.
I know.
Like
Right.
that's crazy.
Table that slides out from
Yeah.
under the cab. It's above the roof of the vehicle, but under the cab of the vehicle or under the alu cab, and you just set it up, and it's an outdoor kitchen table, and I believe you can get them equipped with the Fox Wing awning. Is that yeah?
Well, shadow awning is
Shadow.
alucab. But
Yeah.
yeah.
It increases your space outside.
I mean, I was a Boy Scout. I'm used to
Same here.
you
Yeah.
go kind of
Yeah, we
wash
were
off in
talking
the
about
river
that.
and you're good to go for the
Yeah.
week. That car-
Washing off. What's that?
That car ride home usually from
No.
Boy Scout
Yeah.
camp was not pleasant.
Yeah. So anything else you guys have? I mean, any cool projects that stand out?
Yeah, there's some things that are pretty cool that in the Jeep world that may interest all of you. We installed the first air locker in the U.S.
No
Which-
kidding.
That's
It's
awesome.
something we're kind of proud of. It
Yeah.
was Jim Jackson started ARB here out of New Hampshire, and it was late '80s, I think '88. And he came down. He called me and said, "Hey, I got this thing from Australia. I'm going to sell them here. I want you to install one in an old Bronco." So he brought this contraption to us, this differential with a air line going out of it to a compressor. And we're like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
Yeah.
And we put it in. And right across the street from us here, we have a real steep gas pipeline that
Yeah.
goes up through the mountain. And we went out, and that thing hit the buttons, it locked the diffs, and the thing went right up. And we stood there with our,
Jaws.
jaws dropping and couldn't believe it. So then that evolved, obviously, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
And then, to think now we have every manufacturer has push button locking differentials
Yeah.
in it,
Right.
all the major four-wheel drives. So that's pretty neat. We're kind of proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing, you all know of AEV.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I met Dave Harrington from AEV at the SEMA show in an ARB booth. He was just out of college and trying to start that company, developing some cool products for it. And right away I saw like this guy's incredible. Like his designs, the look, everything is functional. He had some amazing Jeeps at the time. Did all kinds of unique things, and
Right.
you look where that company has steered the Jeep industry. I mean, the
Right.
four-door
Right.
came from it.
Yep.
The Gladiator came from it. I mean,
Yeah.
AEV was
Lead-
instrumental
yeah,
in
absolutely.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we were AEV's first customer
No
wow.
kidding.
as a dealer level.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
cool.
So yeah, that's something else we're kind of proud of too.
And I can say AEV.
You have
I
AEV.
have AEV springs, and
Yeah.
I had an AEV kit, and now it's morphed into a whole bunch of different stuff. But and the quality that comes from that company, and it is truly their on-road feel, and then literally just pulled my disconnects, and it's straight to the trails.
Yeah.
The kit itself is absolutely amazing, and the parts that they give you are like high quality. You can tell when they're in your hands. Like,
Well,
this is gonna
if
hold up.
Mopar is selling them out of their catalog,
Absolutely.
you know it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So they were, you can get their wheels through the Mopar catalog. It just comes with, you got two sets of
Right.
center,
Caps.
Jeep or
Yeah.
or AEV, and you can switch them out however you wanted.
Mhm.
But he's the company is all about details. Their offset is just right on the wheels, so you're
Yeah.
not,
Right.
That's a huge thing right there. So to have a suspension, while the geometry is correct
yeah,
and put on there, then have the wheel offset be correct to keep the scrub radius
yep,
the same as what
Mhm.
the factory settings were and what they should be,
yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah,
So-
we use this stuff all the time at the school, and it's I can put that stuff on and it's right. I don't have issues with customers or anything, and that's why we do it. A lot of people don't understand that 90% of the time when you do something like there's a trade-off, and with AAV there's very little trade-off. And
Yeah.
it's a great product.
Well, I think the theme that I'm sensing from the moment we met you, and is care to detail, right? The attention to detail, that care for the product, that care for the customer. That seems to be evident in everything that we've discussed, and that we've talked about this before. I think it's important for our customer and our listener to know that that's important, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And everything I've heard outside of these four walls about your business is exactly that. That care for the customer, that care for the Jeep that comes in here. I will only take my Jeep to OK four-wheel drive. I
Thank
hear
you.
that all the time, and that's cool to kind of hear it and meet it personified. So that's kind of awesome. What would you like to share with our listeners? That's just something from you to make them come down here and see you.
Well, taking from what you just said, we see so many people waste money in the four-wheel drive world, and we see people get out of the Jeep world or the four-wheel drive world because they had a bad experience.
Right.
They'll buy a Jeep, even dealer lots sometimes. The wheels are offset wrong. They buy this thing brand new, they take it, and they're not happy with it. It doesn't. They get death wobble. Just problems, and now they're like, I'm selling, I'm buying a boat or whatever.
Which that just stands for bust out another 1,000. That's a whole lot more expensive than
Yeah.
Jeeps.
Yeah, but so we like to educate people. Some people think that quality is expensive. I tend to think that quality saves you money in the long run. So, for instance, people will put money into a Model 30, then throw 37-inch tires on a
Yeah,
Dana 30, and throw
right.
37-inch tires on it, and then they just threw all that money away, building the Dana 30 with a locker or whatever, or different gears. Like, just sell that 30 while it's good, buy
Yeah.
a 44, do it right,
Yeah.
and it'll save you in the long run.
Yeah.
So we always preach that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't talk about that.
37s and a 30.
Yeah, well, I also
Um,
built it myself,
yeah.
so.
If you're light on the pedal, you
Yeah.
can get away
No
with it.
lockers.
But,
Yeah, and I don't wheel
yeah.
my red Jeep just because I know that it's literally a hand grenade under the front
Yeah.
of the Jeep. But
Yeah.
it's a show Jeep. It's meant to come out, and it's meant to be a kind of, the little kids at the. I got a comment from a little kid at Target this morning, and he was
Perfect.
like,
Yeah.
Your Jeep's awesome, dude. And I'm like, thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Stay in
that's cool.
school, study hard.
Stay in school.
So yeah, I mean, and that's what always has drawn me to OK four-wheel drive is that exact. I believe in the same philosophy. I mean,
Oh,
Mike drilled that into me when I started, building Jeeps, and I've just learned so much, and I firmly believe that that direction is the correct one.
Yeah.
I look at things like the engineers at AAV. Everything's just a fine balance. But yeah, you guys do a great job here and supportive of a lot of community stuff. I mean, we at the school, you guys have supported us with a lot of initiatives at the school. A lot of different things we've done, and we can't be thankful enough. And just a great business you have here, Jim.
Thank you. It's all the people.
Yeah.
I'm just blessed to have incredible staff. Behind me.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah.
really great. Do you guys have any other questions for Jim? Or
No, I'm just super
No.
appreciative of your time
Absolutely.
and want to
Yeah.
respect that. And
Thank you.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
absolutely.
good talking to you.
So where can people find you?
Well, we're not too far into New Jersey. We can actually see Pennsylvania. So we have people that live like in Bethlehem that think we're like by New York City.
Yeah.
When they think of Jersey, they think of the Turnpike and all the bad areas. We're right in that nice little northwest corner, which is very rural. Pennsylvania's 4 miles from here. So
Okay.
we're right off of Route 78 in a nice little spot. If you're here, we had a lot of people that come. We let them camp here if they want.
Oh, wow.
that's
cool.
cool.
We have a shower here. If people don't have a
That's
shower,
cool.
they can. Chris, when he's here,
Yeah,
he
he's-
uses our
Yeah.
shower.
Yeah.
So if you want to stay here, if you're
Yeah.
from far away, we also there's a lot to do around here too. We have a hiking trail. We have a park surrounding us. If you want to wait while we're building your 4-wheel drive, you can take a
Yeah.
hike and you can go up to a reservoir right on the mountain across from
Nice.
us. And our website, a lot of our number third or the third highest state we do business in now is California.
All right.
So
Wow.
we ship all over. So our website OK4WD.com. So
Awesome.
find
And
us
also, you
there.
guys have an Instagram page that usually is getting pretty populated with different kinds of builds and when your guys are out at shows and stuff like that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So you can go on Instagram and search OK four-wheel drive.
We're
Yep.
trying to get better on that.
Yeah,
We're,
it's tough. I
we're-
mean,
we're in here in the grind every day working, and
Yeah.
I'm not a huge computer guy. I'm more of
Right.
a hands-on guy
Mhm.
out in the shop or doing book work or writing
Yeah.
checks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I'm all over, but we've got a great web team and some
Yeah.
good people now that are communicating a lot better what we do out
Absolutely.
of this place.
Yeah. Great.
So,
Well, Jim, thank you very much. Look at that. You see that look from
You-
Terry? Because I
you did.
stole it.
You
I
did.
stole it. Yeah. Jim, thank you very much. Terry, I'll
Wow.
just hand the rest over to you.
Well, you know where to find us. Find us on Facebook. Find us on our website. We just updated the website this past
Yeah,
week
we did.
with articles. I know that we've got some detailed blog going on with that, but we're also going to have technical writing from Don.
Yep. We have a
Um,
suspension article coming
up
that's
there.
pretty lengthy and sums up the series we just did.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And all-
it'd be a good source of information, I think.
Absolutely.
And also keep an eye out we got some product reviews in the works and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So, and make sure you head over to our Instagram page, Jeep Life Pod, to see all the most up-to-date photos of us being at OK four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Got a whole bunch of photos. So, just keep an eye out. And also our Facebook page, the Jeep Life Podcast. And also, obviously, head over to our YouTube channel where we're going to have some great product review videos. Check out Frank, the driveway mechanic, helping you out with any tips, tricks, and things to help you get your Jeep back on the road or keep it on the road and maintain well performance and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do have our swag available on our website. Make sure to get that. Get all your Jeep Life podcast t-shirts, hats, computer bags, whatever you need. Visit us there. And Jim, thanks so much again for allowing us to come over
Thank you
and
guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this and all you do for the Jeep community too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's
Thank
been
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll see you out on the trail.
Absolutely.